Well, anyway, hi guys, welcome to Cinema Suitcase, and today we're going to be talking about one of Kevin's favourite films, Attack the Block.
Oh, sorry mate, I've lost my glasses. You may continue giving stats, I'm just going to find them.
Okay, while Kevin goes on his...
I need glasses, guys.
While he goes on his hunt, we'll go through the righty credits. So, this movie was written and directed by Joe Cornish. Original music by Stephen Price, who we talked about a little bit on our Suicide Squad episode. Cinematography by Thomas Townend.
Townend.
Interesting name. And film editing by Jonathan Amos. Or Amos.
Amos.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
A-M-O-S, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but yeah.
Whew. Wow,
So,
that was good timing. They were right over there.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, this is one of Kevin's favorite movies. He's always been bragging to me about this movie, saying like, yo, this movie's amazing, man.
It is amazing to me. I love it. I never get tired of Attack the Block. It was a hidden gem I found by chance, by accident.
Yeah. So why don't we go into your history of the film?
No, I'm joking. Sure. So, first time I watched this movie, it was not long after it was released. Actually, I think this film came out in 2009.
No, it's 2011.
2011, okay. 2011. I don't know why I thought 2009. Anyway, it was not long after that release date, so maybe mid 2012 or so. I watched this movie on DSTV. It was on DSTV, which is, as you mentioned in previous episodes.
South Africa's cable TV.
It's basically cable TV, exactly. Well, back when I could afford it, now I'm like,
I mean, everyone's on DSTV.
Pretty much. And that movie came on by accident, and it was only a couple of minutes in during the opening scene, and I read the brief description, and I was like, okay, this sounds interesting, let's watch it. And then it hooked me, and I binged it. And since then, like, I hadn't seen it in years after that, but I always made a note of that name, to remember to rewatch it, because that name stuck with me, and this film stuck with me. Sorry, the name didn't.
And you have obviously watched this movie multiple times, not just twice.
Yeah, I've seen it like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not just twice.
Okay, I thought you meant in a way like, I watched it originally, then I watched it again with you last night.
No, sorry, no, I didn't mean it like that. Did I say that?
No. It's just the conclusion I drew to, but I was like, no. You must have watched it more times.
No, I've seen it a few times. It's I don't watch it too much because I like the magic of it. I don't want to watch it too much and then it gets boring, you know.
Yeah.
So it's one of those films I watch every couple of years, but I really love it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah. So yeah, then my history with the movie. I didn't really know much about this movie. I never even heard of it. And then when I met this guy at college, he was telling me about Attack the Block, and then when we were discussing doing our podcast, we definitely knew that this was going to be one of Kevin's movies that
one of my choices.
They'd want to make an episode on. So
yeah, it's sorry. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I watched this about 2 nights ago, and I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. It was quite different. It was a different type of movie to what I was used to, and it was pretty cool. And what I do quite like is that the fact that this movie takes place, the majority of the movie takes place in one block, which is like an apartment building. It reminds me of Dread, where
you actually mentioned it.
Where they go into Peachtree, which is that like big mega apartment block, and then the whole movie takes place there and everything like that, and they're fighting all the bad guys in the apartment and everything. Like it's pretty cool.
I think it's budget friendly for location.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not sure if they hire a building like this, if it's sorry, my goodness, like if they're allowed to get the building as a whole rented out, or if they can only hire per apartment, they have to pay a certain fee, like $1,000 per apartment. I have no idea.
I mean, it's capitalism, so probably per apartment.
Probably per apartment. Well, I think they only use like 4 or 5 max, so
I think they maybe use like 1 or 2 apartments and they just redress it.
Yeah, probably just switch it up because they're all designed the same. So
yeah,
that makes sense. Oh well, it's interesting to think about.
So yeah, this is a pretty interesting movie. I was shocked to see John Boyega. I had no idea John Boyega was in this movie.
John Boyega's our main character.
Yeah, Moses.
Moses.
The maan character. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of his earliest roles because when I saw him in Star Wars, because I have seen it, believe it or not, I was like, is that the character from Attack the Block? I wanted to say his name, but his name is Moses. You can't change that.
Yeah.
It's Moses from Attack the Block. So I don't know if it is his earliest role. I imagine he's actually done other things, because this is quite a decent budget film. It's not like a short film or anything like that.
Well, I can imagine it's one of his first
theatrical roles.
Yeah, probably one of the first like feature films he did. So yeah, and yeah, no, pretty good. I also recognize the one actor. What's the character? The character who has the dog that spoiler and spoilers, guys. The dog that comes out with him, and then the dog gets killed by the alien.
You mean Afrojack over here?
No, not the other one. The other guy, the guy next to him.
Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, it was him. I think his name was Biggs. I think.
Yeah, that actor. He was on DC's Legends of Tomorrow series. He was Firestorm for like the first season.
Sure. Yeah, shame. He had like a. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
And then you also recognize Cindy from.
Obviously Doctor Who, because I was watching this movie and I was going like, these actors look so familiar. Then I took a look up their IMDb and went, oh yeah, that's that, and that's that, and obviously Cindy, she's Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the recent incarnation of her.
I was gonna say, isn't it like a later reincarnation?
Well, yeah, the newest
rendition
of Doctor Who.
So it's not like an alternate timeline version. It's like a whole series is her.
No, I've never watched Doctor Who, but my one friend who really is into it, she says that basically the Doctor is like this alien, and then he okay, I mean, Doctor Who fans who are watching this, they're gonna get so mad because I'm butchering this, but basically she explained that he's this alien, I think, and he basically reincarnates as different people, and that's why there's been so many different actors to play the Doctor over the years, and that's why you can have the Doctor be a male in one season, then be a female the next season.
Okay. So he switches it up, sort of like how we change clothes.
Yeah.
He changes form.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. That's fascinating. Oh yeah, you did recognize it, was my point.
But yeah. So yeah, this is a pretty interesting film. So it's yeah, these kids mug this woman is walking home and she's on the phone with her mom, I'm assuming. And then she gets mugged by these hoodlums, these teenagers, these youngsters, and then while the youngsters are walking away, the freaking meteor comes and hits and like smashes into this car, and they're just like, they're bombing us.
They're bombing us, bruv. Oh, I love the language, the slang in this film.
Yeah. Like
proper southern London slang.
And it's like it's like this little like gorilla alien type thing, and then they kill it because it scratches Moses, and like he gets a scratch across his face, so they go in to kill the alien. And they take it home, only to then realize that the rest of the aliens are coming for the corpse of the one that they just killed.
Exactly.
And that's what causes the basically the journey to start.
Exactly. That's the beginning. And it's fascinating that they actually they touch on it on that nature documentary. The rich kid? I forget his name. Always forget names, dude. Anyway, he's watching a documentary and they're talking about the moths, how they leave a pheromone in their territory, and the male moths will come and follow that scent because they obviously want to reproduce, and then that's literally a build up for that alien, because that initial alien that crashes and they kill it, that's the female version and spreading of pheromones, and then the males come later, which is the main threat of the film.
Yeah, it's an interesting alien design for them to be this completely like black, like this just black gorilla, this black creature where you can't really make out anything. The only identifiable part that you can see is their teeth that has like this glowing blue color.
It is a nice design. It's actually one of the standout features of this film, I think. Like one of the most memorable. If you watch it the first time, you just think, "Whoa!" It's
also what I was thinking, which I didn't mention it to you because I wanted to save it for this episode. But what I think is, it's also a pretty good cost-saving feature, because basically, if you think about it, they basically designed the aliens in a way where they don't, aside from like the female alien that they have in the beginning, which is obviously like a puppet. They don't really have to like design the alien or really give the alien any like distinct features aside from the teeth. And then basically if you're like on a low budget, which I'm assuming this movie probably was on, they can create these creatures that still look cool and still look unique, while at the same time save money because they don't have to actually like
spend too much.
They don't have to give the alien any distinct design features or anything like that.
It's a simple design.
Simple but effective.
Simple but effective. Yeah, that's like they're really cost effective, weren't they, when they designed it? And you may have a point. Maybe they had budget issues, but I think it worked on a similar concept of.
I'm actually going to look up the budget, but yeah, you can carry on.
Sure, I was saying that. I think they had a similar sort of thing for District 9 because I think they started with like a premise and maybe a short film or a concept, and then only after that was successful were they given funding to make the full-length film.
Yeah, probably.
Because they won a lot of like film festival awards, this film.
Oh yeah, they didn't have a lot of money. They had 8 million GBP.
Great British Pound, which is not a lot of money. What?
Yeah, 8 million pounds.
8 million is $12 million or so. It's not a huge budget.
Yeah.
So they really had to be very sure if they wanted to allocate a certain amount of money to a specific task. They had to be certain because there was no change in the couch they could run back to.
Yeah.
Which I think is an excellent execution of budgeting skills.
But yeah, I was just thinking from a filmmaking perspective, it's just a brilliant idea. Basically just to like,
It is. Simplicity, yeah.
Simplicity.
Always simplicity. I think I'm going to get a tattoo here, like Joker.
Yeah. Oh yeah, are you going to get damaged on
I'm just going to get damaged, but instead it's going to say simplicity, because I love simplicity.
Okay, then it won't be as offensive.
No.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise, yeah. I'm pretty. This film was quite enjoyable. It's like these kids running around, and yeah, some of the things they say is very funny when they call it. Okay, I can't say the last bit, but they described the aliens as these werewolf gorilla-looking mother.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Pest on his bike. Pest is funny to me. He's interesting. The thing is, once the aliens land, they go and show off to like the girl group of the block. So the block is basically they all refer to it as the block, and it is this apartment building where all the less fortunate people stay, I guess. Not less fortunate, but low income areas.
Yeah, like the middle class.
Yeah, I think like lower middle class. But yeah, because it's very like looked down on, and it is a high crime rate and all sorts. It's very sort of run down area.
Yeah.
And these kids are just they're integrated into that culture of sort of gangsterism, and they already start young. I mean, Moses is what, 15, and the rest of them, they can't be too far behind.
Yeah.
Except for like Mayhem and Probs, those guys are like 8.
Yeah. Yeah, those two little youngsters that follow around, and
those, they don't take shite in the end, but they fun.
Yeah, they always want to contribute, and they don't let them, but then they do contribute a bit towards the end.
Yeah, they're like, no, you're too young for this sort of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's sad because constantly throughout the film you get scattered images of each of their sort of home life and how it's difficult for them and how money is really tight and they don't have the best sort of livelihoods, and they're literally just kids, but because of the surrounding cultures and areas they've been hardened up. And more so than the parents realize. Yeah,
it's quite different to the usual depiction of kids in a film, because usually when you have like a group of kids going up against like aliens or like some supernatural force or whatever, they're usually like the ideal type of kids. I mean, yeah, sure, like they maybe like curse when their parents aren't around, but they're good kids in the end. They go to school, they live the ideal family lifestyle and all that type of stuff, whereas with these kids it's like, no, these kids are in the rough neighborhood.
They really are. And the thing is, you can tell they're kids because when they're amongst themselves they reference pop culture so much. I mean,
yeah, like they keep referencing FIFA.
Yeah, they keep talking about FIFA. Jerome talks about Gears of War. They talk about 28 Days Later, and it's so cool to see that, okay, these guys are actually just kids. They just want to have a sort of normal life, but their situations don't allow it.
Yeah.
And that life of crime, like they even admit they were scared when they mugged her in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it's something that they don't really want to do, but they sort of
have to.
It's like remember the joke we made in college with those two guys we saw, those two low-level gangsters?
Yeah, those two like I don't know, hip hop dudes or whatever. They were at the park, and then you me looked at them, and then you were like to me like, you know, do you think those are drug dealers? It's just like, nah, too low level.
Too low level. Basically, that's
like
what
level
they
one,
are.
like low level.
They are level ones, and they're trying to build a name for themselves in that gangster gang culture because of Hi-Hats, who is like their main dealer in the block. He's also he's quite a dick.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like Hi-Hats at all.
I hated him. He was like so annoying. I was just like, get this character off the screen.
I know you didn't like him.
Like later,
every time he came back, he was grumbling.
I was just like, and then like the one part where the alien jumps into the elevator with him, I'm just like, okay, good, thank you. This guy's gone. And then the elevator door opens. He's still up. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I heard you grumbling. You were like, oh, this guy.
This freaking guy.
Yeah, no, they really delayed his death a lot.
I understand why they had to delay his death, but jeez, man, he's like so freaking annoying.
Why do you think they delayed his death? I'm interested.
But no, because he has to be like a secondary antagonist, and they need to set up, you know, they need to set up threats for the kids to deal with. Like while they're busy trying to run away from these aliens, or trying to like eat them or whatever.
They still have to deal with this fool.
They still have to
agenda.
They still have to deal with this guy and his gun because he's, you know, pissed off because they smashed his car, or like his friend died or whatever. And I'm like, you know, your friend died. That was your fault. That wasn't the kid's fault. That was your fault.
You sent him to his death.
You sent him to his death. So that's your fault. Exactly. I don't know. I just didn't like him because like the way he ordered his minions around, like it's just like, you know, he's like the type of guy that I would just be like, get out of here, man. Like I'm not listening to you.
Yeah, go home, dude. Like from an actor's perspective, or just the character?
No, obviously just from obviously I'm not knocking the actor or anything. I'm just obviously the kid's character.
Okay,
I just don't like
tell
this
him
character.
Like, get out. Okay,
just get out.
No, I agree. Like I think he's supposed to really, like he's the guy that during the Corvus, during the major situations, he would always just be there to ruin your day. That's what he was there for. So when he finally got wrecked, I'm glad. I love that scene. That scene stayed with me for so long after the first time I watched Attack the Block. I wanted to say District 9.
Yeah, because like even later where his main henchman obviously dies, and then later he hooks up with two of his other henchmen, and then they're trying to like just say to him like, yeah man, but maybe we should just like, you know, like chill for a bit, you know, while things cool down. He's like, are you telling me to chill? He's like no, just until the cops cool down. Are you telling me to cool down?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god, dude, just shut the hell up.
Yeah, he's really salty. I don't know how he got it into any sort of position of power, because everyone is like much taller than him. They could just easily overpower him.
Or just I don't know, shoot him when he's not looking.
Yeah, I suppose you could do that too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I know his goons are jumpy because the area is heavily policed right now because of all the aliens. Obviously,
yeah.
The aliens they refuse to acknowledge exist, but they're still out there because of attacks.
Yeah, and I don't know. To me, like it just seems weird. I don't know. I don't get his motivation. I get he kind of wants to get revenge, but like. There are aliens invading the block. You think that like his number one concern would be getting the hell out of there, but instead he's hell bent on tracking down these kids and killing them.
Exactly. I don't think he believes in the alien thing, because even after even
though that he's encountered aliens like multiple times throughout the film,
exactly.
he's still hell bent on getting these kids.
Yeah, and the thing is, he doesn't really admit they're aliens at all, because at least for a while, because when his henchman, his main one, is killed. Like he sent him off and he gets wrecked. Then he meets up with the other two later in the film, and he talks about like how he got jumped by some big gorilla dog thing, but he refuses to say and go with the kid's logic that it's an alien and accept that. So then he still just follows them around. He takes on a few more. Okay, he takes on one more gorilla wolf motherfucker. And then that's the elevator scene I'm talking about. And then when he comes out, he's still alive. And he tracks the kids down to that apartment with, I think that's the girls' apartment, where they had that sleepover, because all the guys are chilling there. And then all the aliens are outside the window behind him. That's when he gets wrecked. Finally, I was like, yes,
Yes.
it was well deserved. So I think he was so hell bent on his own revenge for one, having his mates wrecked. For some reason, he blamed them, and then also hitting his car with that police van that they had to hijack. And he got really salty about that. So I think his own need for revenge blinded his like obvious intellect saying, yo, these things are dangerous, we should probably try and survive. His brain was like, oh hell no, we gotta get these kiddies.
Yeah, no. I guess that's interesting. That's an interesting part of it. But yeah, no.
You can argue it. I mean, he wasn't the brightest. He was driven by rage.
Well, no, okay, not the interesting part of it. I think what I meant to say was that that's an interesting observation about his character. Because the thing is, like, I mean, I was just like, wow,
this guy, just
like,
go away, dude.
Just go away. Nobody wants you here.
Exactly. No,
Like he's the drunk guy who shows up to the party and like ruins it for everybody.
And then he
just won't leave.
He's the type to eat all your food, finish the toilet paper, and then pass out on the lawn. He's the type of guy.
Yeah, he's the type of guy. Get out of my house.
Just go home.
Nobody wants you. Like he's yeah.
I don't mind him as a villain. I think also his purpose from a script standpoint is to break up the constant chase scenes.
Yeah, to break it up
kids.
and give well, remember it's supposed to be the B story.
Yeah, it is essentially the B story.
Yeah, because thankfully this is one of the very few big budget movies that doesn't. Because the thing is, most movies, the B story it's always just a romance that doesn't need to be there. So I guess it's nice to have a different kind of B story.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, the B story. I want to say B plot.
You could also call it the B plot.
It just didn't sound right in my head. So anyway, the B story is usually romance. You're correct. So maybe they were like, it doesn't really suit this
type of movie,
type of film, and especially. If you think about it, there is like a little bit of a C plot with Moses and one of the apartment ladies, like that group of girls. Remember, they sort of like each other, but they don't dwell on it because she's like, you're just this hoodlum. You should try and be something better.
Yeah.
And so they don't really. He's not like desperate for anything. It's just cool that they had that little bit of connection, but they didn't make it a full-blown love story amongst this mini apocalypse.
Yeah.
Which I think adds to the tone of the film of a serious take.
Yeah.
I just thought of it now, but it has momentum.
No. That is a very good point, because the thing is, obviously, when you look at a film, there's obviously the main plot and the B story, which are the two main ones, but there are like little mini character arcs. There are little arcs for each character. Each character goes through some kind of arc. And some kind of like C plot, like even with the one rich kid, there's a whole C plot about him and his dad's car, and his dad's car gets wrecked, and now he's like paranoid.
Yep, and he got caught for having a little bit of in his pants. Yeah. So now he's already in trouble with his dad. But then he's the guy that watches the documentary I spoke about in the beginning.
Of the
pheromones and the moth
pheromone. Yeah.
So they sort of needed him as a he is also a little bit of a what's it called when they're supposed to add a little bit of humor to a serious situation.
The comedic relief.
There we go. That's the term I wanted. He's the comedic relief to some extent, because he's the punching bag, because he's the upper class intelligent citizen, and all the block kids are like, who's this idiot? They keep belittling him because
when he tries to get into the elevator with them, they just say, take the next one.
Yeah, they just force him out and they're like, take the next one. They don't respect him. So and then he has to sort of own that, and he helps them understand the pheromone background, which helps to move the plot along. So I like that he's there. I know he's not an ideal fit for the
group,
but also for the type of the location. You'd never find him there, but I still think he's a great addition to the film.
Yeah. And then one thing I think I liked about the film was that they broke basically all the rules, because the rules because because like there's those like rules in screenwriting where it's like don't kill the dog, don't kill the kid, and the thing is they basically break both those rules. They kill the dog at the beginning, and then they also kill, and like at least like half the kids get killed off.
Yeah, who gets wrecked? Am I even in? Okay, I'm a little bit in frame.
I mean, I know that they're teenagers, but they're like they're all younger than they're all below 18. So
I think they're even below 16.
So they're all they are still technically kids, and the fact that like half of them gets killed off, that's like that was pretty gruesome ways. Some of them,
yeah. I think two of them got wrecked. Yeah, two of them, which is also like I suppose they had to add a bit of.
They had to have characters that get killed off or whatever.
Yeah, to add, like, so that they weren't just wearing plot armor and they were immune. You know, some of their members could die.
Yeah.
Which was great. But I didn't want any of them to die. They had such nice synergy amongst each other. You felt like they could be friends in real life. All of them.
They did.
They gelled really well.
Yeah, they did have good chemistry and good like synergy and everything. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So I was like, when some of them died, I was like, oh no.
No, yeah.
Because you want them to succeed, especially because they're relatable and you feel a bit of. You feel something towards them because of their situations. Yeah. And also, they're fun.
Yeah, the one kid's dad, he's a jerk. Like remember the one kid when also with cinematography, I really like that one scene where the thing is they decide to go fight when the aliens first start landing and they decide to go take care of them, and they're running down the stairwell, and then each of them go into their apartments to go fetch something or something.
Oh yes.
And then the one kid he like goes into the apartment. His dad says take the dog out for a walk. And it's just like I'll take him out tomorrow morning. He's like, I'm not asking, I'm telling. It's just like jeez.
That's what I'm talking about. During that scene, I love the way they did that. How they each assemble on the top floor because Ron's weed room is there, and then they all bolt and they all stop on a different floor.
Yeah, they all stop on a different level.
Which is so cool from a cinematography standpoint because you gradually count down this 4 left, 3 left.
Yeah.
As they're all getting their stuff, but that's also the time that you see into each of their lifestyles.
Yeah.
Like how hard they actually live. Okay, it's not like hard, they don't live on the street or whatever, but they really don't have much going for them at home.
Except for the Afro kid. The Afro kid, he seems fun. He's got a loving mom and everything. Like he seems.
Yeah, he has a concerned mom.
He has a concerned mom and I mean his dad is around because he does say it because at one point when he's in the dumpster because he's in the dumpster for most of the movie because he's hiding, and towards the end when he calls his mom does say like I'm gonna call your dad or whatever. So his dad's obviously is still around. So yeah,
unlike Moses, who doesn't have a family at all besides his uncle, who is like a drifter. He's not even at home.
Yeah, I don't know.
So he's quite independent for such a young man.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a hot take here. I didn't really like Moses.
You didn't like Moses? Okay,
I like John Boyega as an actor. He's really great, and he does give a good performance in this movie. But I don't know. Just from a writing standpoint, he was just boring to me. He was just the stoic leader who never smiles, who's just always like got a straight face. Like never says anything. Like he's also very quiet for most of the movie. Like the rest of the kids, they do most of the talking. He's usually like just the quiet one. I mean, he does talk in the movie, obviously, but like he doesn't. I mean, he's the leader, but he's mostly just like like just straight face the entire time. And then the thing is, I mean, I understand they do give backstory that like he's got this hard life with his uncle, and his uncle's not really around that much. But they like literally shoehorn his backstory like right at the end, like just before the final like climax, basically. Like in the last like 20 minutes, when he's on the phone with Cindy, Doctor Who, they like literally quickly shoehorn in a backstory. Like I feel like his backstory should have been integrated a bit better. Because the problem is at the end it kind of felt like phoned in. It kind of felt
phoned in.
It kind of felt to the point where it was like okay, we filled out all these other kids, but we haven't given Moses actually anything, so we need to give him something.
I think maybe just to you they didn't execute that correctly. But
I think it's more it's not the writing, it's just the execution.
Hey guys, so the camera cut while we were recording, and I basically had a nice counter argument that Logan actually agreed with to an extent afterwards, and Logan says he didn't like Moses as a character, he said his backstory was shoehorned in towards the end. Sorry, let me put my phone down. And to catch up, what I basically argued was, one is they kept that as a bit of a shock value towards the end.
Yeah.
And another point that I brought up saying that why it was towards the end was to not only ground Cindy in reality about the harshness these kids face, because they can't just be kids, is that of course Moses is largely independent because his uncle is always drifting and never at home, so he lives by himself for large lengths of time, and that basically forced him to do this low level crime that he's surrounded with, like the pushing of the weed before he was upgraded to the coke, and then also the muggings, was just to sell whatever he gets, and as well as the cash he gets, just to have a little bit of income so he can sustain himself.
Yeah.
So he's sort of like a victim of circumstance more than outright thug. They're actually good people.
Yeah,
Oh,
I understand. It's that saying of like, it's that saying we sort of went with in our Suicide Squad episode where it's like, we're bad guys, but we're not bad people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. That sums it up perfectly. So that's why I argued that towards the end it isn't as shoehorned as
No, I agree with you.
as the term may make it.
No, I agree with you. That is a strong argument. I guess also the thing is they could have, I don't know. I guess they maybe could have given him a bit more of a personality because he was kind of like quiet the entire time. But I guess I understand why. But
Can I add to that? If you
it's just like smile every once in a while. Jeez.
well, if
Reflect with humor or do something. I don't know, because he just felt like the stoic, quiet. I don't know. But I don't know. I think we should just go past that because I don't know.
Okay, well, I actually had a nice counter argument.
Okay, well,
but if you want to move on, then
no, it's fine.
I'm joking.
Yeah, what's your counter argument?
My counter argument for why he's such a straight-faced guy is not only is he the most hardened to real life compared to the rest of them, because he has it a little bit harder, being he has to fend for himself. He doesn't have any family to stay with, and that's probably one reason why he's so hard. But also he's sort of their unofficial leader. They all want his input and they respect him, and I think he takes a lot of their mental burden because they're like, okay, Moses will make a plan and we'll work to that. Yeah. They don't really have to think what will we do next as hard as Moses. So maybe he's very like internalized and just constantly thinking, compared to the others who are like, all right, this is the situation, we'll wait for our leader to make a plan.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
So maybe that's why he's more reserved. Maybe he's also just a nice contrast, being a more mature person compared to the others that just make, dick jokes and they have fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That is a good point. So yeah, maybe I just need to watch it again.
probably.
But yeah, no. So otherwise, yeah, pretty thing. And yeah, I don't know. I think also just okay. Well, thing is, I don't know. My complaints aren't really like, they're not really like major complaints, like, because I understand, they're a limited budget, and like, I mean, the story is good for what they did, and I think it's definitely a very impressive, like, for a small budget film. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's more just like personal enjoyment factor, like, like for me, like, it was entertaining. It was a fun movie to watch, but it's not like a movie that I'm gonna really remember or anything like that. Okay, well, I won't say that. That's too harsh, but it's not a movie it's not a movie that's going to, like, have a big impact. It wasn't a movie that had a big impact on me.
No, fair enough. I suppose there are better versions of the Monster in the House category type films. For me, that was the first ever exposure to that genre. Not just hoodie horror, but also like an alien type of threat. Because I hadn't seen Alien back in 2011. I hadn't seen, Jurassic Park recently, because that movie used to scare me. So to sit down and watch a full length of that type of genre, that was my Alien essentially. So
yeah, no,
it has a special place for me.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand why there's a special place for you. But yeah, otherwise, the editing was really good. Is there any shots that you really liked?
Yeah, there's plenty of shots that I really liked. I like. I don't think I'm gonna say them in order. I'm gonna say them as I sort of remember them.
Yeah.
I'm just going through the film, so I'll just cut out if I take too long. But one film or one shot that we can definitely highlight right now, because they're both in my mind, is the first one is when he has to run to his apartment and he has the alien female.
Yeah.
And he runs down the corridor with all the aliens right behind him. That shot is really cool.
That shot is very cool.
I really like that. And another shot that will always stay with me is the shot of when Hi-Hats dies and you think that's it because it fades to black, but then you see they took his nose off. That shot is really cool.
When was that?
Right after Hi-Hats got jumped by all those aliens. The main guy you don't like, the secondary,
that
and he
guy.
gets wrecked, and then it fades to black because like all the aliens surround him, but then they open up again and his nose was bitten off.
That was gruesome.
That shot, that forever lingers with me because he's still alive in that shot, and I'm like, whoa.
Yes, movie's quite I was surprised how violent it was.
It's not overly violent, but
there's
it doesn't shy away when it has to.
It doesn't shy away, and there's a lot of like blood and stuff and everything like that.
Aren't you like squeamish?
No, I'm not squeamish.
No,
I'm not squeamish. I'm just saying like I was surprised.
Yeah, of course it is. It can be shocking, but I think that's a good use of shock factor.
It is a good use of shock factor.
They weren't like cheap and jump scary, and they had a solid plot.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that use gore in cheap ways, just like shock the audience, and you don't need strong writing.
Another shot I like. There's a few shots I like. Is when Cindy is in the cop van. She's like looking for the people that mugged her, and then she looks into the rear view mirror, and you can see the aliens sort of move in the shadows. That's a nice, powerful shot. Trying to think if there's others. Oh, I also like the shot where right near the end of the film, where Moses has the alien already on his back, like a backpack, and then it's sort of the camera's behind him and he has the sword ready. That's a nice shot. Like I'll put them all in editing so that everyone can see. Other shots that I really like. No, they aren't. There are plenty of shots that I really like, but I wanted to watch it a second time briefly, but I didn't get the chance to. Another sort of sequence of shots that I think is really well done is when they let go of the firecrackers in the corridor and it's all smoky.
Yeah.
That's a good sequence.
Yeah, that sequence is pretty cool.
It's very well edited and shot.
It's quite a scary scene though, because that one kid gets lost in the smoke, and you keep hearing the other guys in the background, but you don't actually see them, and then he gets jumped by the aliens. That was like that was definitely a cool sequence.
And it actually reminds me of Breaking Bad when Jesse loses the ricin cigarette and he looks for it and the camera's rotating around him.
Yeah.
I'll add that as well. That is it's powerful because it incites like uncertainty, or not uncertainty, but like anxiety. It makes you anxious. That type of film shooting is awesome.
No, it's pretty cool.
Other shots, don't think I have too many beyond that. Oh, I do like some of the close-ups of the aliens, and you see like a little bit of blood on their blue teeth. I think those are really cool. But other than that, if I have any more, I'll make a separate segment. But I think, do you have any?
I mean, the thing is, there's not really much that stood out to me. I do quite like the that one shot where they first encounter one of the big aliens, and then like they see sort of this creature like sort of coming out of the darkness.
Oh yeah.
And then like they sort of think that when they see the blue, they think that that's its eyes, but then it turns out that's the teeth.
The way those aliens are designed.
Cool. Yeah, the alien design is just amazing.
If their mouth is closed, it looks like eyes. Yeah. But then when they open their mouth, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know the scene you're talking about though. It's very early. It's when it comes like in that park.
Yeah. In that like park sequence where the dog dies. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But pretty just pretty good. I think they're just.
I think
really,
it actually. Sorry, I keep jumping.
No, that's fine. I was just gonna say that I think they play up the horror very well. The horror very well because these creatures are like these creatures are like terrifying.
They really are. They're kind of cool. I'm surprised they don't have more recognition, but maybe it's just because it was such a small movie.
I mean, the thing is, it was a small movie, didn't make too much of the box office probably, and
probably not.
Yeah.
But I still think it's awesome.
Yeah, the thing is, especially as a film buff, I really do appreciate those movies that don't do well at the box office, but you just love them so much. Like I've got a few small niche films like that I really enjoy, like Alita Battle Angel and that type of thing. Like,
it did not do well.
I mean, it did. It didn't do terribly at the box office, but it didn't do to the point where Disney's going to make a sequel, because obviously Disney owns the rights to 20th Century Fox now. And I don't know, man. Like movie rights are weird because like James Cameron owns the rights to Alita Battle Angel, but I don't know if he can make us legally. There's like a legal thing. Like, can he make a sequel without Disney? Like, I don't know. It's a big thing, but yeah. But movies like Alita Battle Angel, Dread, I mean, the Ghost in the Shell remake didn't do very well at the box office. A lot of people look down that film, but I love it. I think it's really good. And yeah, no, just a lot of really great films. It's just nice to find there's like little niche films that you like and everything. And I mean, even though the movie wasn't like, it didn't wow me or anything, I'm glad that we're at least doing an episode on it, and that we are shining a spotlight on like these smaller
films, of course.
Films, yeah, because because it does get boring when you just keep doing the big films all the time. You want to do some smaller films.
No, of course, I get you.
Yeah. So any lessons that you take away from this film?
Yeah,
or any takeaways?
Sure. Well, I was still thinking. I was going through the plot, like, because we didn't really cover the end, did we? Should we?
Oh yeah, we can cover the end if you want to.
I think so. Most of the middle of the film, the Act 2, most of that is just running, basically.
Yeah, it's just them running and like hiding.
And trying to make a plan and slowly learning what these things are and what they're weak to. And then coming towards the end of the film, where they all hold up in the weed room and they already lost 2 of their friends, and that's when the upper class dealer he
gives them the exposition.
He gives them the exposition about the whole pheromone, because they only discover that Moses is covered in that pheromone from the female alien because he killed it. They only find that because of the UV light that the weed is growing with. So.
Then I just wanted to add that one moment with Moses that I do like that bit at the end where he sort of like, takes responsibility for all the deaths and everything, and I do like the bit where he actually like he tells the other guy like, give me the ring, and then like the guy doesn't want to give it to him. He's like, no, give it to me, and then he gives Cindy back the ring, like
the one that he mugged.
Yeah, I do quite like that moment. That moment's pretty cool.
It shows again that bad guys, not bad people.
Yeah. We're bad guys, we're not bad people.
Exactly, because I mean, Pest doesn't want to give the ring, but Pest is stoned, so you can't blame him.
It's just like,
His bat.
Yeah, and Pest is just hopelessly flirting with Cindy.
Yeah, shame, poor guy.
It's just like, where's your boyfriend?
And he actually brought up a valid bit of, I don't know if you can constitute it as meta commentary, but when she's like, oh, I do have a boyfriend, he's like, oh, where is he? And she says, no, he's in Ghana helping less fortunate people. And then Pest is like, so what about the people at home? We're not exotic enough, are we?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's actually true, because so many like charities and stuff, they all want to look good, but they don't help the people right at home.
Yeah.
Which I thought was actually quite an interesting take.
That was a very interesting take, because I think the thing is, society sort of looks at it, they sort of look like, oh, poor, Africa or whatever, like, they're so unfortunate and everything. I'm like, you have people on your home front that are unfortunate.
Exactly. So when Pez said that, so what about he's helping people in Ghana, so what about the kids at home? Are we not exotic enough? And I was like, that's a solid, she didn't have an answer for him.
Yeah.
And that was a powerful statement that I think they were just trying to highlight.
I don't think.
Oh, did it go?
Yeah, I remember that line did stand out to me a bit a bit as well when I heard it. I was like, yeah, he actually does have a bit of a point.
Yeah, Pest had a point.
Yeah.
So that's what I really liked. And then, of course, the sort of final fight, as it were, starts. And just when we learnt Moses's current lifestyle and backstory, Cindy turned up all the gas in his home apartment, and Moses was going to make a run for it there and using Pest's fireworks just blow up all the aliens, because they were obviously following the pheromones that he had on his jacket.
Yeah, a little Left 4 Dead reference, because you and me play Left 4 Dead so much. It reminded me of when you throw the pipe bomb and all the zombies crowd over the.
Oh
thing.
yeah, it's true. I think he even throws that body.
Or that other bomb that when you throw it on one of the zombies, then all the other zombies rush towards it.
Oh, the bile bomb, yeah.
Yeah, the bile bomb. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that.
It's true. It is. And then of course, now that he's in his apartment and it's filled with, explosive gas from the oven or the stove, he launches that firework and bombs all of the aliens in one shot.
Yeah, well, I will say whenever they use the fireworks against the aliens, those bits were really cool. I really enjoyed that, especially when they first use the fireworks against the aliens and it hits the aliens. I was going, whoa, that's cool. But I was also thinking, those aliens have got to be dead. Come on, they've got to be dead.
Yeah, I think they died then. I'm glad they also didn't have like a post-credit teaser for One Survived, 1998's Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, I'm glad that the plot was done. It's over. I'm thankful.
When I went to go search, although I did mention to you, I don't know if this is still in development or if it's just a rumor or something, but when we were watching this movie and I was on my phone looking up IMDb because I want to look up all the credits and everything. When I searched Attack the Block and the search results came up, underneath Attack the Block there was Attack the Block 2.
Nice.
So I don't know if they are going to work on maybe make a sequel one day. I mean they could.
They could. Maybe it's a concept.
A concept for a sequel.
I hope not. They're ruining all my franchises, mate.
Yeah, because I know you're very much the person of just this movie was good. Now leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Same with District 9. I told you I'm on the fence about District 10. If they do it well, then I'll be more forgiving and I'll retract my statement. But as of right now, with everything that's being ruined by mainstream media and Hollywood, I don't want a sequel.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think the problem is when people watch a really good movie, especially in modern, a really good modern day movie. People automatically just where are we gonna get the sequel? When are we gonna get the sequel? It's the same thing with Alita Battle Angel, Dread. Okay, no one's petitioning for a Ghost of Shell sequel except me. But
one man army.
One man army. But basically, when are we gonna get Dread sequel? When are we gonna get District 9 sequel? When are we gonna get this? When are we gonna get that? But you're right in the sense of you don't trust. We don't trust modern day Hollywood to deal with these franchises.
No, they're just gonna butcher them, mate. Because you gotta be woke.
You gotta be woke. Keyboard warriors. My one friend said something very, very, very true the other day when he basically said that I don't think these keyboard warriors do pay for anything except for their internet connection. They don't actually go watch the movies that they complain about. They don't play into the video games that they complain about. They just pay for the internet connection.
Exactly, and bitch and moan, and that's it.
Yeah.
Still, I'm glad that Moses got away, and he still got away in the sense of he survived bombing, and the fact that he still went to prison, sort of, because of his.
Well, I don't know. Did he go to jail though? Because remember, she does say to them, "No, these boys defended me."
Yeah, but I don't.
Well,
know.
I mean, if obviously he was still in the jail car because obviously they didn't,
they didn't show it. Yeah.
Because they obviously didn't show them taking them out of the jail car. But I don't think he went. I don't think he went to jail.
I don't think so. I think maybe he went to jail.
Well, the problem is that
personally. Okay, sorry. You give your take.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say that my take was obviously they put him in the jail cell initially because obviously they were okay, he's a suspect or whatever. But then Cindy obviously says that no, these boys defended me and everything. So and then everyone's screaming, and then everyone outside is screaming Moses, Moses. I don't think he went to jail.
Fair enough, but I think if I took from a realistic standpoint, the cops probably still took him in, and maybe maybe like he was cleared after Cindy gave her like official statement at the precinct.
Well, yeah, obviously he was still taken to the precinct and questioned and stuff, but
maybe after that he was cleared.
But I don't think he actually went to actual jail.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Too.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have had evidence to hold him or anything. No,
like especially that. If Cindy cleared his name as well. She's like, no, they're my neighbors. They didn't do anything to me, even though they did mug her, but they
atoned for it.
Yeah, they did atone for it by saving her life. Atonement! Oh, God, no. Where's tea?
Yeah.
So, I think that's my personal take. It's left open-ended for you to decide, but I think he got out.
Yeah.
He did, or if he did, maybe they had like a Need for Speed type scenario where he paid for his crimes, but they weren't as bad as initially suggested. So he didn't do 10 years for mugging or whatever, as an example. Instead, he did like say 15 months for property damage or vandalism. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's a bittersweet but still good ending. Sort of like I argue with. Like I like to think he got a happy ending in the end.
Yeah. So what would you say for ratings? What would your rating be?
10. Next question.
10.
No, I absolutely love this film. I don't have anything I would complain about it. Even down to the youngsters, those two kids, Probs and Mayhem. Like even they make the film. They're a nice comedic relief.
No, they are.
They so try hard.
They are a nice addition.
And I just love the film overall. And I'm glad that it was initially just a little independent type of film that managed to get budget.
Yeah.
I think it won a competition. I'm not sure. I have to go read that backstory.
Yeah.
But it's just I love it. 10. Sorry, 10. This is in my top 10 movies of all time.
Okay, so 10 is your official rating.
10 is my official, yeah. Remember, I work on how much I'd recommend it. And over the last 3 years, I've been like, dude, watch Attack the Block.
Yeah, he's been nagging me like constantly to watch Attack the Block.
So yeah, 10 from me.
Okay, cool. I'm probably gonna go with about a 7. It's a very enjoyable.
Let me get my bat.
I'm gonna go get
ambush.
Yeah, I'm gonna get beaten by the bat like after the camera stops. But it was for me like it was an enjoyable movie, and I am glad that I watched it. I'm glad that we did an episode on it. But for me it's a 7. It's an enjoyable watch.
No, it's good, man. Of course, you're entitled to your opinion. And I'm glad you at least watched it finally.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched it, and I would still recommend it.
Oh yeah, hands down. This is the last episode he ever featured in, by the way, guys. I'll be the only host from now.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Kevin Solo show.
Yeah, he mysteriously vanished. Never heard from him again after this. No, I'm joking. I'm glad that you're willing to give me a solid, honest opinion.
Yeah.
Because I know you weren't a big fan of it, but me, like I'll be honest, I fanboy for this film.
No, it's fine, man. Really we're all film buffs here. We should all be able to enjoy what we enjoy.
Exactly. Which is cool. So I'm glad that at least you and I finally got to sit down and discuss it.
Yeah.
In terms of lessons that I learned, would you like to start? Cause
we need to do takeaways now.
Yeah, takeaways essentially.
I think what I liked most about it was I like that whole thing they did with the alien design. That they made the alien like these black creatures with like the blue teeth and everything. It's a simple design, but it's effective. So I think that's a very interesting thing. Like if you want to do something like a big sci-fi movie or whatever, like the movies I want to make one day, those simplistic designs can really help sometimes. So that's a very good lesson. That's definitely something I'm going to take away in future films I work on, hopefully one day. And then I think I also just really like the editing and like the shots, especially like I said, that sequence where they're going down the stairs and each of them are stopping on level. I really just like the quick cut and the editing of that sequence and everything. It's really
beautiful
cool
scene. That's not a beautiful.
Well, it's a beautiful sequence.
Yeah, the way they did it is.
And how they stitched it together was very good. So yeah, I think those are my
main takeaways. I agree. Editing. I also think editing. They're very good at pacing. Like action scenes are quick cuts and more ominous, uncertain scenes have much longer, lingering shots, and it plays hand in hand. I mean that's it's sort of how you should do it, but they really seem to go the extra mile for editing that film, and The creature design, I agree. It stood out for me as well the first time I watched it all those years ago.
Yeah.
I'm old. And one thing I really like is the cinematography.
Yeah, cinematography is very
There are
good.
some really beautiful shots for a film of this budget. You could easily just
Well, the thing is, you could tell this was a passion project.
it really was. You can definitely see.
You can definitely see
can't
it's a
even
passion
argue it. I
project.
think objectively it's a passion project.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to like District 9 and stuff. Yeah, it's a very definitely a passion project.
Because you could have easily just made another low budget horror film with a bunch of teenagers getting wrecked.
Yeah.
And instead it's got a lot of depth. And the cinematography as well.
Yeah.
They, I don't know who did it. You did mention his name or her name.
We'll put a text correction on.
But I'm gonna
video.
go and follow and see more of their work because they're quite inspirational. Another lesson, if I have, I'm trying to think if I can word it correctly. Like one thing I sort of like is their characters have real depth without having set up such elaborate backstories. They don't make it obvious. You sort of have to clue it together through what you see, the brief bits you do see.
Yeah.
You have to in your own mind see how their life is like aside from the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite cool because they're not so obvious about it, but you can tell that life is really not the best for them, despite never seeing any other characters almost beyond the core group.
Yeah.
Which I think is so cool. I don't know if those aliens are CGI. Hey, I don't know. They might be. I think they are. But
I mean, the thing is, they have to be because they're like moving. I mean, you can clearly see that small female alien at the beginning. That's clearly a puppet. But those big ones, they have to be CGI.
I wonder if they're like a combination of like animatronics or like.
Nah, I don't know. It looks like to me it looked like straight up CGI, except for the small one. The small one obviously was like a puppet, especially when he's carried around on his back and everything. You can clearly tell it's a puppet.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the small one. The small one, you're right, but I think the big ones sometimes maybe there's one. They made like one animatronic for certain scenes, and then the rest are CGI. But I'll have to check it out. Also, like the length of this film, it doesn't drag. It's really
yeah, because like you said, it's like an hour and 20 or hour 30.
Yeah, hour 27 I think it said, and that's including credits. So it really isn't that long. But they get a lot done within that time frame.
Yeah, we sort of lost that art form of like making like hour and 20 minute or hour and a half films and making it satisfying. Because now every film that comes out now 2 hours minimum.
And you have to set up a sequel.
Or 2 hours minimum, over 2 hours most of the time, and we have to set up a sequel. And a cinematic universe.
And a cinematic universe, yeah, everything in one brief 90-minute plot.
Yeah.
And
a 90-minute plot stretched to 2.5 hours.
Yeah, probably like an hour plot stretched to 2.5. Yeah. And that's the thing, it's everything has to be interconnected these days because of what the MCU did. Yeah,
they're just trend chasing.
It's unfortunate because
we got to make that Marvel money.
Yeah, and we just wanted something concise and simple, and that's why I like these older movies because they do that one and done, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I was pretty much saying.
Yeah.
So bye.
So thanks very much for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you are listening to on any of our podcast platforms, and you have any feedback for us, please write us a review, and we will take any suggestions you have into consideration. And thanks, guys.